everyone's doing well, and welcome back to another weekly outlook. So, for some reason, I've just recorded a weekly outlook and it has not had any audio. I'm unsure why that's happened. Got a complete new setup, got a good microphone, everything. It's annoying, right? This is probably like the 100th time it's happened to me on this channel. But anyways, I've decided that I'm gonna have to start, testing the mic, which it sounds silly. I should have been doing that from before. Testing the mic every time I'm about to record content, just so that does not happen. I've just wasted 15 minutes making a very, very good weekly outlook, if I may say so myself, and then realizing it has no audio at all. So cool. Anyways, not to bore you guys with that. I know it's a bit of a late upload today, guys. Just been busy doing some DIY all day, just been out and about. Haven't really had a chance to sit down and record, but let's get into it. Right, monthly candle, very simply put, or rather, sorry, let's start on the weekly first, right? Last week, the expectations were that price likely, right, we had this little 4-hour consolidation, wanted to see price dip below this, take the previous weekly low, and then from there, distribution this way towards the previous weekly high. Now, what's happened is price did not meet the previous weekly high, but it made its way there. And now that previous weekly high feeds into a weekly fair value gap. This is the area to be watching, in my opinion, for now, right? At least in the short term. Monthly candle, there's no reason for us to, see anything of concern. It's a very clear accumulation, manipulation, distribution. We've hit a major sell side target, right? Which I think may set up for a bit of a deeper retracement. But if anything, from candles like this, overall, I'd be expecting DXY lower. I want to see continuation. Now, when we talk about deeper retracement, what I'll be looking at, sorry guys, I know I may be talking a little bit faster now, but I'm just going back over the things I previously said in my last recording. But yeah, back to the point, sorry. Essentially, this is a daily OT. Right? We have a new monthly candle about to open in a couple of days, literally in about 3 days, right? When May's monthly candle opens, I think the odds are that we can see something like an open high here at the equilibrium or premium, and then of course distribution this way to make the low and the close. Right? That's the sort of expectation I'm going. I think, these profiles lining up with the sort of news events that are coming up and the end of the month coming up are always very nice to see, right? It just makes everything very sort of tracked out, and you can wait for that process step by step. Even if it doesn't play to exactly what you're expecting, it lets you have a better understanding of what to expect, right? And in the scenario, what that would mean, or what that may warrant, is in the short term, I think we can run on the previous weekly high. But that doesn't mean we will run it, we'll hit the weekly high value gap and reverse. Can that happen? Of course it can, right? Always. Any scenario is possible to take. But I think the likelihood is we may run that and sit in this range. We may consolidate. If we run that early week at least, I would argue that. And the reason for that is that this week coming is NFP, right? The biggest sort of mover for the week. Now, I know some of the last NFPs haven't been great, but what I would say is that over the last few days, I wouldn't even say a week, I wouldn't even say more than a week, right? Last few days, tariff news has calmed down slightly. And now if it continues with that trend, with that tone, where the tariff news is sort of, getting quieter, then the likelihood is that these big news events will go back to providing the moves that they usually provide, right? Just logically. But now, having said that, there's also the likelihood we see some crazy headlines and other movement in the week. So it's just something to be aware of, right? Always in the back of your mind, just understand what the tariffs mean, what they can do. We've discussed it a lot in the previous weekly outlook. Cool. This week coming, nothing on the Monday, right? You've got a CAD red folder, but nothing for the US dollar or the euro or the pound. We have jolts on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, we have ADP, which is a big mover. And we have GDP for the dollar. Good. Events clustered together, plus another red folder at 3 p.m. Past that, on the Thursday to watch out for is that we have a lot of bank holidays for the euro, but we have unemployment claims for the dollar and this manufacturing PMI to watch for. We also have the Bank of Japan's policy rate, something to pay attention to. And past that, of course, the biggest mover of the week that we're expecting is the NFP on the Friday, part of the new month. Right? So cool. That is the plan for this week. I think in the short term, for the week to open, we can manipulate a little lower slightly. If we come and get some sort of sell side sweep, pair sweep, something like this, take a previous daily low out perhaps, and we get a bit of a kick up, it'll make for a good short term trade towards the previous weekly high. But once that is hit out, I think unless we're being provided with an extremely clear setup. The best thing to do here is sit on your hands, let things get clear, let that monthly candle make itself a bit, obvious, and show us, okay, this is likely the high being put in, right? This is likely being, whatever it is, whatever the scenario will be, but it's all laid out for us, in my opinion. US 10-year, it's been in a large consolidation like we spoke about last time. Monthly candle is extremely ambiguous, right? Swept both sides quite a bit, gone straight back in the middle. If you look on the daily time frame, last time we spoke about, if we have this big range, we have this consolidation, or from discount to premium, liquidation going back to discount. Now, the way this candle is set up, or the way the previous candle closed, I think the likelihood is we carry on lower, or at least bearish until the equilibrium tool here. But this, chart being in large consolidation isn't very helpful to our analysis. There's times where this chart is very consolidated, but the DXY is moving, which is leading to, a lack of synchronicity. But we just want to be, always be prepared, have that expectation, and just, if the bond yield really give a kick at some point, it's likely that the DXY will follow, right? So euro and the pound, very easy bias in my opinion. Coming up this week itself wasn't, craziest move by any means. Took previous weekly low, but no intent to trade higher. Look in the daily, you can already start seeing the clustered sell side. Come on the 4 hour, it becomes even more obvious. I think from here, we've had a nice range, right? We've come to the top, we've consolidated. The odds are you're going to see accumulation, manipulation here in the discount, and then distribution this way. Now, to provide the framework for that, right, you guys can see the accumulation. We have a very obvious swing point or swing low here, obvious swing high here, and we have the discount already being this weekly fair value. I would like to see price reach towards this. If we can hit this and get the reversal, I think that would be the sort of ideal scenario on Euro GBP, where we can see price trade higher. Bitcoin chart that everyone's probably been wondering and talking about. Very nice monthly candle. We've swept the previous monthly candles low. If it hadn't done so already, I would have said the next short-term obvious target, the previous monthly high, which it has hit. Come down to weekly, and what we see is some very good displacement. We've got an accumulation, manipulation to the discount, and then a kick up for distribution higher. As you guys can see, I've already marked out the weekly order block, right? Okay, properly. From here, if we want to see higher prices, I think the likelihood, of course, this candle closes in about 3 hours. If it closes anywhere like it is now, I would anticipate that the next candle has a shallow protraction and trades higher. The reason for that is that if this is, sort of new range being built, the odds are that this is your order block, this is your expansion, this is a fair value gap behind. That's what I would like to ideally see. If we can get a scenario where this candle is left as is or left with a fair value gap, and the following candle comes and starts trading higher, then the odds are what heading towards here, right? In the following week past that, then we could start talking about weekly average scenario, whatever may apply at the time, but that's what we'd be anticipating, higher prices. Now, in those chance that this week comes and you actually get, sort of shock manipulation, a sharp manipulation down, this weekly order block, this is the area that I would expect price to find support at, but I would expect price to, bounce higher from. So those are the main things to watch. And last, least, S&P. Great monthly candle I want to talk about first of all. Massive wick. Guys, there is no way I see a wick like this and do not expect the following candle to trade higher, right? Especially when you consider that this is a monthly candle, not just a, 5-minute candle perhaps. This is very clear manipulation in my eyes. If this candle, this 3 days left, can flip bullish, it's even, extra better confirmation for us to be trading higher in the following candle. So now how do we set up that, idea of trading higher? We come down to the weekly time frame. This week that just passed gave previous weekly low sweep and displacement higher. Very nice, right? Very textbook. And what's that done? What that's done in turn for us is leave behind very nice daily swing low. In a bullish context, I do not expect this daily swing low to get violated. This is now the new anchor, the new swing low I would be using in this market. Whether the high gets posted here or here, here, wherever, right? Wherever the high is posted, just, let's just imagine it's here. This is still the swing point I'm using for the time being until a new swing high is in, and then a new swing low is in, etc. so forth, right? What I would say is some people may be tempted to use this current 4-hour low. This one over here, I would not use this. There's a good likelihood price can come and sweep this. This is only Thursday's sort of low. Can hit into this daily discount and then trade higher from there. So I'd definitely be careful of that. But overall, I'm expecting bullish prices on the S&P. I think this is a very large, manipulation, and we've got somewhat of a textbook move out of it. If price can post up one more sort of, run up essentially the second leg here, then I think that market maker buy model is fully in play. But based on that monthly close, I'm fairly confident we are trading higher rather than lower. Right, guys. But yeah, that is about it for the weekly outlook. I hope all of that made sense. As usual, any questions, anything I can help with, please just drop me a message.